Jose Mourinho is taking Manchester United backwards. 10 things we learned from the Premier League. It was another entertaining weekend of Premier League action, with Liverpool's 3-1 victory against Manchester United the standout result. Manchester City, Chelsea and Tottenham also secured wins, while Arsenal lost to Southampton. Here, AMITAI Winehouse assesses 10 things we learned from the latest weekend of the Premier League season. 1. Jurgen Klopp had about 8 months on Jose Mourinho. He took over Liverpool in October 2015 while the Portuguese became Manchester United boss in May 2016. At the end of that 2015-16 season, United finished 5th and won the FA Cup, while Klopp's Liverpool came 8th. Now Liverpool are 19 points clear of United, their biggest ever lead over them after the first 17 games of an English top-flight season. There has been a tremendous swing between these two teams. There are trends and there are blips. Klopp's team are challenging for the title while Mourinho's are nowhere near contenders. They finished second last season, but that felt like a quirk of Manchester City's ludicrous success. Sunday's 3-1 win just confirmed what we have known since the start of the season: Mourinho is taking his team backwards. 2. Arsenal must be sick of the sight of Charlie Austin. He popped up to score the winner on Sunday afternoon and kept up a ludicrous run of form against the visitors to St. Mary's. It was the 5th game in his career in which he scored against them, and he's only faced them on 5 occasions in the Premier League. Only Raheem Sterling, with 6 against Bournemouth, has a better 100% record. Whatever it is about Arsenal, it paid off for Ralph Hasenhüttl when Austin headed in on Sunday. Maybe that statistical quirk will be a key difference come May. 3. Manchester City are at their domineering best when games open up, and there might be a lesson in there for teams looking to hold them off. They have won all 21 of their games in all competitions this season when they've scored in the opening 45 and not won any of the 5 where they haven't. That trend continued against Everton, when Gabriel Jesus opened the scoring en route to a 3-1 win. But it may suggest that their style does not suit being frustrated in attack. Do that and a team can stop what, at one point, seemed like a simple charge to the title. 4. There will always be a criticism of this Spurs era under Mauricio Pochettino, namely that they have not picked up any silverware. But, as many Tottenham fans found themselves writing after the late win against Burnley, sometimes you just have to trust the process. Pochettino became the first manager of the club to oversee 100 Premier League wins, and achieved that in 10 fewer games than Arsene Wenger did at Arsenal. It is only one-off moments and the brilliance of other sides that have stopped them picking up significant medals. Pochettino must go down as the best coach Spurs have had in decades. 5. If there was any doubt that Eden Hazard is benefiting from Maurizio Sarri's management at Chelsea, then the evidence continues to stack up. He has now outperformed himself from last season already, with less than half the number of Premier League appearances he made in Antonio Conte's fated final season in charge. The Belgian has been involved in 17 goals this campaign, more than he managed in 34 games last season, 16, after his assist and goal at Brighton. Sorry does not seem to be the hardest word for Hazard. 6. West Ham co-owner David Sullivan once lumped Robert Snodgrass in with a series of struggling purchases. "My kids begged me not to sign them," he said in an interview. At that point, no one would have earmarked him as a future key man for the Hammers. But an injury to Andriy Yarmolenko has given him an opportunity and he's taken it with both hands. He now 2 goals and 3 assists in his last 4 games after a run of 16 matches without any. He's now a trusted player under Manuel Pellegrini and his own form has improved as a result. 7. Domingos Quina's £1 million transfer to Watford probably went under the radar amid the deadline day hype, but few who saw him play for West Ham's U23s thought it'd be quiet for long. He became Watford's youngest ever goalscorer in the Premier League with his long-range effort on Saturday, at 19 years and 27 days old, and helped them to their first win in 7 league games. A one-off impact should never be read as a long-term trend, but Quina is clearly one to watch. 8. If you want a symbol for Crystal Palace's striking woes over the last 2 years, it can be best summed up by the significance of Luka Milivojevic's strike against Leicester. His long-range effort won the game and also means that he has now scored more goals for Palace in the Premier League than any other player since his debut in February 2017. And that from a hard-man midfielder. It shows that Palace need a striker in January. More importantly, they need one who can put the ball in the back of the net. 9. Newcastle have started pulling away from the relegation places after a run of 4 wins in their last 7 games. And it is no surprise that it coincides with Salomon Rondon's return from injury. He is cut from the no-9 mold. If a factory assembled strikers, they'd churn out something like the Venezuelan. He now has 4 goals in his last 6 Premier League games. No player is more important to Newcastle's survival hopes than the striker. 10. Wolves and Bournemouth operate in a weird mid-table Premier League bubble. Neither is likely to go down and, in reality, neither is likely to threaten the top end of the league. That leads to bizarre stats like Wolves picking up a 3rd win in a row with a victory against Bournemouth, while the Cherries lost for the 6th time in 7 matches in the same game. Bournemouth, in 11th, were, at one point, flying, and Wolves, recently struggling, are now up to 7th. It would be no shock to see them trade that back and forth over the course of the season as runs ebb and flow.